Hey there, girlfriend. Is your lead generation at a plateau? Well, girl, you are in the right place. If you've ever asked yourself, how can I take the awkwardness out of in person lead gen? We're going to get to the bottom of that in today's video. We will see you inside. Hey there, my name is Ingafay, and I am a confidence coach for female cash, which is coaches, authors, speakers, and home based business owner with an MI upline. And today we're going to talk about those awkward situations that we kind of find ourselves in when we have those introvert tendencies when it comes to in-person lead generation. I don't know about you guys, but I know over the last couple of years I've been doing more lead generation online than in person. So today I kind of wanted to talk to you about how to take the awkwardness out and give you some little tricks of little oldie but goodie that I used to do that I did recently that I wanted to share some results about. The first thing that we're going to talk about is how to avoid the small talk. We're going to get into that a little bit deeper. I'll give you a story and tell you some of the things that I had to do to overcome this. Then we're going to discuss a great way to filter the people that are interested in what we have to offer and the people that are not interested. And then last but definitely not least, we're going to talk about how to determine what the next step will be for the people that we're interacting with. Let's do this, shall we? Now, let's talk about how to avoid the small talk. So, I'm going to tell you a story. I can remember when I first started in my direct sales business. I think many of you know that I am an engineer by training, so was really not much of a people person when I started this. So I literally had to will myself to talk to people when I first started out. Now, I can tell you in the beginning, very much an introvert, not really a people person at all, was very reserved around people that I didn't know, kind of would have to feel people out before I actually would let Inga come out, I'll say. If I felt very comfortable with you, then I felt like I could really just kind of let my guard down and do me. But if I didn't feel that way, then I was very reserved and just kind of watching just to kind of see if you were somebody that I could really expose my true self to. So over the years, I have definitely evolved and I call myself more of a social introvert. And as a result of that, it just made me really aware of when people are just starting out and they have those introvert tendencies. They don't like to talk to people they don't know. They just don't. So, what I wanted to kind of bring up is something that somebody had given me back in the day that I recently brought to fruition again here recently. I set up a booth at a local vendor event and had my holiday gift giving gifts out there, but I kind of wanted to do two things. I wanted to sell the gifts, but then I also wanted to have leads so I could set up appointments after the vendor event was over. So, with that said, what I did was it was kind of a twofer that I did in an effort to actually get leads. I told them that I was going to give away one of the gift boxes that I had featured in my booth, and for them to register as a person that to enter the drawing for that, they would have to fill out a survey. Now, have you used surveys before? Surveys have really served me well in the past. And being that I really hadn't done much in-person type of lead gen, when I was thinking about the event, I thought it would be a perfect way to kind of will myself back in, since this is something that I hadn't done in a while. So when I did that, I was able to get people. It was kind of a twofer thing. They registered to enter for the free gift box. And then this survey kind of let me figure out if they were in my niche. So some of the things that I asked in the survey was, of course, their basic contact information, their name, if their cell number, if they prefer to be called or text. I even asked for their email address because I think many of you know we've talked about this before. If you haven't heard me say this, it's very important to build that email list, not just build your presence online, but you have a list that you own, that if for whatever reason somebody shuts down your social media account, that you can still have access to your people, because that's kind of borrowed real estate on social media. You don't own that at all. So your subscribers and your followers, if all of those can go away at a drop of a dime if for whatever reason somebody somebody decides that they don't want you to be on their platform anymore. So it's very, very important for you to have your space with your people. And that's by having an email list. So I definitely asked for their email list. And another thing that I like to ask is their age, because I just kind of want to know who I'm working with. You at these days and times, you really can't tell how old people are, and I wanted to make sure that I'm really talking to an adult. I'll say it that way, because some kids, they look grown. I mean, yeah. So I put that out there to make it easier for me to know the person I'm talking to. So I kind of separate the age, if they're under 25, if they're between the ages of 25 and 55, and then if they're over 55. So I have like little boxes that they can check. So they're not telling me they're not writing down their date. I just have these boxes that they can check that kind of lets me know where they fall. If they're less than 25, if they're in that range, because typically my range of folks are in the 25 to 55 range. So those are really my niche people. So it's really helping me get a feel for, is this my person? And at these days and times, you want to know, is this my person? I mean, I don't need to talk to, I want to talk to somebody that's my preferred person, because I am in the business of sharing products that you're going to be interested in, not convincing somebody that they need the product. Do you feel me? Okay, so that's basically what I was doing when I started the survey, and that's one of the questions that I asked. I was curious to know if you have used surveys too. Or is this a method that you have used for lead gen in the past? Comment below and let us know, because I would love to know where you stand. So now the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is to find out if they're interested in what I have to offer, or if they're not interested in what I have to offer. So I told you about getting the information, their contact information. The next part of the survey, I then start asking some key questions about to see if these are my people. And it's just about their habits. I am in the skincare and color cosmetics company. So one of the first things that I ask them is, are they using a skincare line? Do they have a skincare regimen? That's very important for me to know, because if they don't have a skincare regimen, that may not necessarily be my person. And like I just mentioned before, I'm not in the business of convincing people that they need skincare. I want to work with people that know they need it, and then I can help them fulfill that need. Do you feel me? Yes. So that's what I like to do. For sure. Now, I want to also let you know, this survey that I use is not a fill in the blank kind of survey. It's more of a multiple choice. So it makes it really easy for people to answer the questions that I'm asking. Very quick responses. It'll probably take somebody all of, I'll say, a minute and a half to fill this out. By the time they write their name down, give me their phone number, tell me if they're going to do a call or a text, because that's just a box, write their email down, and then check where their age is. And then I just gave you that first question: did they have a skincare regimen? It's a very quick and easy survey. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space either, because what I've done is I've put 4 on one piece of paper. So it's like a quarter of a sheet of paper. So that I wanted to make sure that I say that, because I'm sure you're hearing the questions and the things that I'm asking for on this survey, and you may think that this is really long, but in actuality, it's not. It takes about a quarter of a page to fill this out, and I just make copies of them and then have them cut so I can have that ready to go. And then what I've also noticed is people give me honest, I'll say for the most part, they give me honest answers. And whatever they tell me, I believe them. If somebody tells me that they don't have a skincare regimen and they're not interested in trying new products, about new skincare products, then I'm going to trust and believe that's what they mean. I'm not one of those people, because I've had people in the past say, well, I still contact the people that tell me no. Well, I don't, because they've already told me no. If they weren't interested, well, if they were interested, I feel like they would have told me yes. I mean, that's just me. I don't think I should be running behind people that have already checked off on the survey that they're not interested. I think it's just in my best interest to believe what they've told me and keep it moving. I guess that's kind of, I guess what I'm talking about is more of a person that's an extrovert because they're just going to keep asking until you say yes. And I'm that's not my way. That's not that's not how I roll. So I wanted to make sure that I said that, just to help those that feel the way I do to understand that about me. Now, I am sharing this survey that I use because I sell skincare, but this is not just a survey that can be used for skincare. I think it could be used for somebody in health and wellness as well. You would just ask questions that pertain to your product, or your service, to see if the people that you are interacting with are actually interested. It allows you to, like I said, not have to do the small talk. You're finding out all this information that you really would like to know about the person, but you don't have to engage in that back and forth conversation with them. I know at times that can make me feel uncomfortable because I feel like I'm being a transactional, and instead of really developing and building a relationship. Because if they tell me no, then it's no. Okay, so we've gotten that over that. Okay, so you're not interested. So how are your kids? I mean, what's going on? What's new in your life? I mean, I think it's very important for us to realize that people are people, and just because they don't want our product or service, it doesn't mean that we're going to discount them in any way. We just move on and talk about something else. I'm sure you may find something else that you have in common with them. If they're a mom, for me, if they like to dance, if they are health conscious and they work out, I mean, those kind of things I can talk about with pretty much anybody. So I just want the survey just allows you to know if they are your person, if they're not your person, and then you can just move on and just be a human, right? So let's just remember that. Before I go on and talk about how you figure out what your next step is, I want to remind you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We upload a video every Thursday for your viewing pleasure, and we don't want you to miss a beat. So be sure to subscribe. So now, how do you find out what your next step is? I put it on the survey. So I'm asking them, if I offered you an opportunity to try new skincare products, would you be open to that? I actually asked them that, and they can say yes or no. Then I ask them, would you be interested in a virtual experience or something in person? And if you did it, would you want to do it by yourself, or would you want to invite friends? So I'm asking all of these questions to actually really know where they stand, and then I'll know what to do. If somebody tells me they just want to meet by themselves, then maybe I can put them with a group of folks that only want to meet by themselves. But instead of me just doing one individual appointment, that I can put them all together at once. Or if someone tells me they want to be in a group, they have a group of friends that they want to share their experience with, then I know that I can have a group of friends, and maybe I can add to another group as and have a whole big group all together. But these kind of things is the things that you're going to want to know when it comes down to find out if these people are in your niche. And if they're not, you can still move on and talk about something completely different, and just, that you've done your part. You've asked them about it. They've either confirmed or denied that they're not interested, and you just move on and talk about something else. And it's to me, it's not awkward. It's very quick and easy. I also love to do this really with people that I know, because then it's kind of no pressure. Oh girl, I would love your help. I'm looking for people to help me fill out this marketing survey. We're doing this marketing survey for my company, and I just want to get more information. Do you mind filling this out? And they'll say, sure, girl, no problem. And then when they tell you where they stand, and if they tell you no, take the no and keep it running. Don't go back and talk to them again, because they've already told you. I know I just filled out this survey and told you I wasn't interested, right? I know I just did that. So why talk to them? I think that's how we get a bad rap, in that we're over zealous in trying to convince people to try our product and service, when we should not be in the convincing business at all. We want to attract people that want what we have so we can serve them. And that's truly what I believe. I want to also give you the opportunity to get more ways to lead gen, because as we all know that if you have no leads, that means you have no bookings. And if you have no bookings, you are essentially out of business. And leads are the prerequisite to bookings. So if you're interested in learning more ways on how to lead gen, I wanted to expose you to the Expert Trilogy. It is a opportunity for you to learn from 6 and 7-figure earners on exactly how they generate leads on social media on various different platforms. So be sure to check out that link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.